Oh, the joy. So I'm working on the money pit, my car again. And finally figured out what was wrong. 4 injection pumps. Of course, the mechanics are always right? You know, gotta be the injection pump. No. There's our problem right there, right? So some idiot, and this is the last time I'm ever going to buy a car without a master mechanic inside the car with VCDS reading everything out to me. Never, ever going to buy another car without that happening. And so anyway, somebody was working on this car. I had stated in a prior video, and you can always tell when idiots are working on Volkswagens because they bust all the connectors. You know, they'll bust the connect. You know what I mean. So anyway, they don't know how to get them apart. They don't know how to get a stupid connector apart. They shouldn't be working on a Volkswagen. So what happened is this is the wiring loom for the injector. Or is it this one? It is this one. And someone had actually taken and when they hooked this up, they were jamming the wires. You know how people push on wires, or you know, I think, well, if I just push on the wire, it'll just make, you know, God come to the rescue and my shit will work again. No, if you got a bad connection in your wiring, then you need to depin it and fix it. So that's what had happened. Of course, I found some more botched stuff in here, about 10 miles of electrical tape over some work that had been done in the car. And I'm just in a little bad mood right now because, you know, I didn't expect to go through the money that I've dumped in this car, buying this car at 97,000 miles. So, but it'll be a new car when I'm done. So someone had actually spliced in the glow plug harness and just did a quick job, snipped the wires between the relay and the glow plug harness and left it in the body. And you know, anyway, there was such a good tape job on everything, I didn't really notice that was done, you know. So it's my bad. Somebody did a shitty job in wiring and did an excellent job in taping it up so they could hide their mistakes. Anyway, what I've had to do is depin and splice in 2 engine bay wiring harnesses to make 1. So I just want to go over these plugs because nobody really goes over these plugs. If you look inside here, I don't know if I can get the light right here, but anyway, there's a little arrow in here. And you have to slide these pink connectors. Pink means it's a lock, right? Or blue. So there's an arrow in there, and it'll say to slide the connector. Let me see if I can see it with my eyeballs. Yes, arrow's right there. See it? Right there. Right there. So you got to slide this pink connector over carefully and not break anything. There's a little notch in here for you to take your screwdriver and slide it over. And then you can take your depinning tool and you can go in and depin that. The problem is I didn't have the smaller depinning tool. And I tried for about 2 hours with paper clips and filing them down and everything. I just got frustrated actually after about 2 hours of not having the smaller depinning tool. I just spliced the wires in, so they lead back into the sensor in the back, which should be the temperature sensor, and it's something else in the back of the motor, not the tranny, in that area. So I'm just beat. It's like 11 o'clock. I've been working on this thing for like 6 hours, so I just wanted to go over the connectors. So your connectors here, you're going to slide that over to the square part here. Slide it over before you'll be able to release anything, right? Because if you try and release those pins without sliding that lock connector over, it ain't going to happen. You're going to bust something. So that's the one connector. You'll see in here this connector. I didn't really have to do anything with this one, so it's fine. But if you want to get in here and do something with it, you see this pink insert down in there. You'd get a screwdriver in there and slide that out this way. Slide it towards the camera here, right? See it? And that'll allow you to depin these. Depinning the connector to the ECU, that was a lot of work. So let me try and explain this. So the ECU connector, this insert here that my thumb's on, slides out. And that insert there also slides out. So you have to get both sides, both inserts on either side slid out so you can depin the connector going to the ECU. And yeah, it's kind of interesting looking at all of the stuff, that the wiring that's in here. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to be putting this back together and hopefully taking my time that as I did, that I got everything correct, you know. If not, I'll just get mad and go down, buy a new wiring harness, complete, spend some more money, throw it on the vehicle and call it good. So hopefully that helps some people out on these connectors. Your depinning tool looked like something like this, right? Now this is a larger one, so you want to have both the larger one and the smaller one so you can get into these smaller spades. See them smaller spades in there on the left? If you don't have the smaller depinning tool, you ain't getting it. I couldn't anyway. And anyway, hopefully that helps some people out. I'm going to wrap this wiring up tonight, hook everything back up. I just like to get stuff done when I get started on it. I'll stay up all night if I have to get it done. And I'm going to use rescue tape. Of course, you see I like rescue tape. Basically, it's silicone tape that adheres to itself. When I took this wiring harness apart, I noticed it was wet. I like to wash my motor every now and then. And I want to make sure that when I wrap everything, all these connectors are going to get wrapped from the hip of the connector to cover all the wiring. So all my wiring is going to be waterproof for this harness through the whole engine bay. Well, anyway, the stuff for the engine bay, right? I'm not going to go nuts and do all this other stuff, but yeah, hopefully that helps somebody out on these connectors. I know I fought with that one. I fought with this one for 2 hours trying to get it done, and I actually got a little mad at the old one, and I just said, you know, hey, it's an old one, I can do whatever I want with it. So this is what happens when you got 2 hours of working on trying to depin those little bastards there, and couldn't get it to happen. So I just spliced it. So my splices are good. So if you're going to splice wires, you want to stagger your splices. Okay, so you don't want all your splices in one spot. Try to stagger them. See how that's here and that's here. And then you have to get some friction tape, okay? So what's going to happen is I'm going to wrap each splice individually with friction tape and then wrap it over the rest of the wires. And that way, if anything rubs through, they're heat shrunk and soldered. If anything rubs through, it's not going to get through that friction tape. And then I'm going to wrap everything with rescue tape, which is silicone tape, seal it all up. Probably start from the computer and work my way down. Okay, so hopefully that helps some people out on these electrical connectors and these VWs. All right, peace out. Have a good night.